I have the privilege of of announcing, recognizing a coach who's speaking today. She started coaching about 4 years ago. She has steadily moved her business forward in those 4 years. She is currently a 5-star diamond coach. And she's a 2019 elite coach. And she tells me she has locked in Elite 2020 months ago, which is fantastic. Although we will announce 2020 elite coaches the first week of January, but chances are she will be a 2-time elite coach. She's also an all-star legend, Success Club 10, which means 38 months she has spent in Success Club, helping at least 3 people every single month. 3 new people every single month makes you a success, puts you in Success Club. She's going to be talking about promoting and marketing groups. Ladies and gentlemen, from Marysville, Washington, Natasha Pehrson. Hey there, Natasha. You're
Hey.
looking gorgeous.
Thank you.
Thank you for getting up at the crack of dawn like I do every Monday because you're on the Pacific Coast here. Really good to have you. Let me hear your audio a tiny bit. Say hi.
Hi, you guys.
Perfect. All right, I'm going to get out of the way. Let you tell everybody what brought you to Beachbody 4 years ago.
All right. Hey, everybody. I am so excited to be here this morning and sharing a lot of great information with you. Hopefully bringing you a lot of value. So I'm going to start by sharing a little bit about my story and what brought me to Beachbody. And I have actually been doing Beachbody workouts for years before I became a coach. I had no idea what coaching was when I started doing Beachbody. Back in 2012, I started my weight loss journey, and I knew that I needed to lose weight, but I also knew that I did not want to go to a gym. So I picked up a copy of Shaun T's Hip Hop Abs from Amazon. It's kind of a funny story. I got the cheapest thing on Amazon. I didn't even know what a program was or that there were different workouts that you could do. And I ended up just getting one workout program, and I did the same workout over and over and over again, morning and night, for over a month. And so tilt, tuck, and tighten, like I still remember everything from that one workout. And after about a month of doing Hip Hop Abs, I decided that I needed something harder. I knew that I loved Shaun T, so I went to the Beachbody website and I purchased Insanity. So after Hip Hop Abs and Insanity, within the next 5 months, I was down over 50 pounds. I felt incredible. I went from not even being able to do a push-up on my knees to doing over 10 push-ups on my toes. I started training for a half marathon, and I just had this new confidence about me. So fast forward a few years after that, I actually had my first baby, and my husband and I decided that I was going to quit my job and stay home with her. So we went from 2 full-time incomes down to 1, and things were beyond tight. I mean, we were going into debt every single month, more and more into debt, to the point that my husband got a second job so I could continue to stay home. So he started a paper route, which, if you don't know anything about that, it's 365 days a year in the middle of the night. He would deliver papers every single day. And then he would sleep for about an hour, go to his full-time job, then come home. He commuted an hour each way. My daughter and I, we barely saw him because whenever he was home, he was sleeping and he was just exhausted and he didn't want to do anything. So I knew he couldn't keep that up forever, and I started to feel really guilty. And it got to the point where I knew if I couldn't find something that I could do from home, I would have to go back to my full-time job. I'd have to put my daughter in daycare and do a job that I hated. So I actually was looking for an opportunity from home. So I tried random things. I did consumer surveys, cleaning up the Google search engine. I don't even know if that was legit. I did psychology experiments, donating blood plasma. Like, I tried everything, and they all paid a little bit, but nothing was consistent. So then I actually saw my coach posting about a challenge group that she was running. A bunch of women were going to get together. They were going to do Insanity Max 30. And I knew I needed the accountability because I had not yet lost the baby weight. I did know that I loved Shaun T. I did know that I loved Insanity type workouts. And 30 minutes seemed perfect for me because I was a new mom. I was super busy taking care of the house and not really sleeping a lot at night. And once I got in the group, I realized that my coach was getting paid to help other people through these programs. And it was at that moment that I knew I had to be a coach. I had already lost weight with Beachbody before, and I was already telling everybody about it. I just wasn't getting paid. So I told my coach, I literally had no questions. I said, sign me up. I don't know what I have to do, but I know that I can figure it out. And I know that it's something I can be good at. But I also told her, I mean, things are really, really tight right now. So I'm going to give myself 1 month to try this out. And if I can't even make back that $15 business service fee, I'm going to have to quit because things are that tight. But I did not want that to happen. I wasn't going to let that be an option. And so from day one, I just went all in.
I don't know of anybody who knows what a paper route is or if they still remember hip hop abs. So you brought up so much good stuff today, especially since hip hop abs is a great program. And unfortunately, newspapers, they're going away. But you know what? It sounded like you would do anything to make it work. And that is your persona. Now let's talk about marketing and promoting groups and how you came to talk about this topic. Why this topic and why now?
Okay. So recently I was reflecting on the past 4.5 years as a coach, and I had this epiphany. I realized that the months my business was fast or the months that it was slow, it wasn't because of the time of year. It wasn't because of back to school or the holidays. Those are all excuses. It was because of what was happening in my personal journey. I realized that the months I was on fire in my journey, so was my business. And the months I wasn't really focused on results, my business started to slow down. So today, I'm going to share with you my 3 best practices for how I have used my personal journey to promote and market my groups. So the very first thing that I do before anything else, I want to have all of my messaging nailed down so I can easily answer questions and talk about what is coming up. So I do this by answering a few questions. When does my group start? When does my group end? When is the deadline to sign up? Back in the day when I started coaching, we were still doing programs on DVDs. So people needed at least 10 days to get their program in the mail. Now that we have Beachbody on demand, technology makes things a lot easier. So I usually make the deadline 2 days before my group starts because this is still going to allow people enough time to learn how to use Beachbody on demand, to access their workouts, to find their workout calendar, to go through the meal plan. So this question is also really important because I realized when I was setting deadlines, it was creating urgency when talking to people. When they had a clear date that they knew they needed to sign up by, they were less likely to drag their feet and get signed up right away. So I also ask, what are the requirements to join my group? Do they need a challenge pack? Do recurring or coming back customers, returning customers, do they need a home direct order? Do they need a minimum PV? Are we going to be doing a specific program in the group? How many people am I going to let in the group? I always tell my new coaches to choose a number that, number one, is going to help them hit Success Club, so at least 3 people, but also makes their group seem exclusive based on the amount of followers they have. So when I started coaching, I had less than 300 followers on Instagram. So I only advertised 5 spots for my group. Then when I grew to 5 to 10,000 followers, I advertised 20 spots, and that number has continued to grow. So if you ask me about my New Year's group right now, I could tell you all the details. The group is going to open January 1st. We are going to be starting day 1 on January 6th. So that's after bar comes out on the 3rd. The deadline to enroll is going to be that Friday though. So January 3rd is the deadline. And the group is going to be ending February 23rd. The requirements to join, if they are a new customer, they have to get a challenge pack to join the group. And all of my returning customers must have a minimum order of $60 within the past 30 days. So returning customers also must be following a Beachbody program, which includes the meal plan. So they must be following one of our meal plans too. So I have 100 spots available for my group, and they are first come, first serve.
I'm going to stop you, Natasha. You're doing fantastic. I want to slow you down just a tiny bit, slow your roll, only because when you wrote it in your script, and I even asked you about it, it was about that ratio of followers.
Mhm.
When you had very few followers, you invited a few people, you had spots open for your group. When your following grew, you had more options. I want you to take that again because I think it's really important. People are not understanding. They invite everybody they've ever known, and then they have no one to invite the next group. Would you just go back and talk about that one a little bit? Because it was really important.
Yes. So what I do is I set a number of people that I'm going to let in the group. And I want it to seem like it's scarce, like there's not a lot of space available. So people are almost fighting for those spots. So when I had 300 followers, I wasn't going to open up 100 spots because everybody could feel like they could get in. So I only did 5 spots, but I knew that only about one person per every like 10 to 20 people that I invited was actually going to sign up. So everybody that I invited, I still kept in contact with them, and maybe they didn't sign up that month, but they knew that I would continue to have groups the following months after that, and maybe they could get one of those spots later on.
Okay. Keep going. You're doing great.
So the second thing that I do when I promote my groups is I get results that would inspire me. So all of the vital behaviors are important, but especially this one. I have learned over the years as a coach that the better my results were, the easier it is to hit Success Club and the more people are interested in joining my groups. So a few months ago, before starting the Morning Meltdown 100 test group, I knew I wanted that launch to explode my business. And I knew I would easily be able to do that if I got killer results. So at that time, I had 50 pounds that I needed to lose. And I knew if I really focused, if I stayed 100% on track, I could probably lose most of that in 100 days. 100 days is a long time. And I also knew that my ideal customer would be watching me through the journey and they would want to do whatever I was doing if I could get those results. So while I was going through the program, my business was my why. It was my motivation. Every time I was tempted to go off track, I would literally ask myself, is this cookie worth the biggest paycheck I've ever gotten? And the answer was always no. So I learned that even if I was doing all of the other vital behaviors, if I was inviting, I don't know, hundreds of people a day, following up with people, all of that work would be pointless. It would be a waste of time if I didn't have my own personal results to back up what I was promoting. So my job as a coach is to help other people get results. And how can I do that if I can't even do it for myself? So when I was going through Morning Meltdown 100, I literally treated getting the best results possible as my job. And you know what happened, you guys? I crushed that program. My results were insane. I'm sure you've probably seen them floating around the internet or on the Beachbody website or on Beachbody On Demand. People wanted to do what I was doing. They didn't care about the cost. They didn't care about how long the workouts were. They didn't even care they had to work out for 100 days in a row. In fact, I barely got any objections when talking to people about my group. I showed them what was possible and that they could do what I did and they could follow in my footsteps and I would be able to help them. So the month that Morning Meltdown 100 launched, I signed up over 200 people on launch day. In that month, I signed up over 350 people total. I made the biggest paycheck to date. And Team Beachbody does not guarantee any level of success or income from the Team Beachbody coach opportunity. Each coach's income depends on their own efforts, diligence, and skill. So if you're thinking right now, it's because I was in the test group that I was able to do so great with that launch. You are 100% wrong. It was because I was in the test group that made me make the decision to focus on the program and work 100 times harder, take it really serious, and do what test groups are created for, proving that these programs work for real people. So every single day, you guys, I talk to at least one person who has never even heard of Beachbody. So what I do is I tell my new coaches, pick a program, treat it like you are in a test group, go all in, get the best results possible. And that right there is going to do more for your business than any amount of invites ever will. So you're also thinking, what if I don't have weight to lose? Results don't always have to be about losing weight. In fact, right now, I'm in that position. I'm pregnant right now, so I can't lose weight. In fact, I'm going to be gaining weight for the next several months. And that's okay because I can show a different type of transformation. Beachbody is the total solution, no matter what your goals are. So next month, before I start Bar Blend, I'm going to strategically set goals based on what would inspire me if I were on the other side watching my journey. My first pregnancy, I actually gained 60 pounds. And this time I want to show that it's possible to not gain that much weight and that I can gain weight at a healthier pace. Another thing I really struggle with is the way that I view my body, especially having struggled with my weight my whole life and just having worked so hard to lose so much weight. It's really emotionally difficult for me to see all of that weight coming back on. So I want to show people that it's possible to still love your body even while it's changing. I always ask my team, if it's not weight loss that it's your goal, what type of transformation do you want to have? Do you want muscle gain? Do you want visible abs? Do you need to work on your relationship with food? I tell them to figure out what would inspire them if they were on the other side watching, and then go be that person.
Okay, I know you're on fire right now, and people are freaking that you signed 350 people in a month. So, is it like that every month for you? Every time you have a challenge group, you're focusing on getting your results with the program, and is that what helps attract? I know that that was a huge, huge month for you, but what are other months
So
like?
I've realized that when I'm on fire in my journey, so is my business. The better my results are, the more people are attracted to want to do these groups with me. And it doesn't matter what time of year it is. If I'm on track, if I'm on fire, I have an easier time talking about the programs. I'm excited about the programs. I love sharing my workouts. I love what I'm doing, and I just feel really good. And that energy and the results I'm getting attracts a lot of people.
Okay, now go to point number 3. Thank you.
So this last one. The last thing I do when I'm promoting groups is I talk about it every single day, and I invite every single day. So first, it's really important to realize your Shakeology and your workout, that makes up less than 45 minutes of your day. So you need to be sharing all of the non-Beachbody stuff too. My rule of thumb is 80% life, 20% Beachbody. So the few times a day when I do share about Beachbody, I need to make it count. Each week when I'm promoting a new group, I make a list of all the different things I want to highlight, and I split it up throughout the week. So number 1, my followers learn something new each day. Number 2, they're not bombarded with a ton of information at once. And number 3, they don't run away from my posts or my stories, because all I ever talk about are my workouts and my shake. So I intertwine my message and my story into what I'm talking about and how I talk about these programs. And I also just remind myself, people don't really care about the details. They care about how this is going to help them. And I show them how it's going to help them through my own personal experience. So for example, instead of, I love how short the workouts are, they're 30 minutes long. Why would my potential customer care about that? Why do I care about that? I love that the workouts are so short that I can actually do an entire workout and shower and catch up on my DVR all while my kids nap. Instead of Shakeology is awesome, it has 70 superfoods. I talk about how much I love Shakeology because I really struggle with my nutrition and late night snacking. And let me tell you, when I get the kids in bed, like the very first thing I want to do is bust out my stash of cookie dough, my secret stash. But I know when I drink my Shakeology, I have way less cravings and I don't feel as tempted to go off track. So to give you a little bit of a clearer idea of what breadcrumbing information and inviting looks like, here's an example of a few days of things that I might talk about. So Monday, I might show Beachbody on demand. I'll show all the workouts, how I access my workouts. I'll show the workout calendar, actually what the Beachbody on demand app looks like. And then I'll talk about how I used to go to the gym and I probably looked like an idiot because I was that person walking around reading the instructions on how to use the machines and still not really know what I was doing. And Beachbody on Demand is like having a personal trainer right there in your living room, and you don't have to be self-conscious about what you look like in front of anybody. Then I'll probably show a few moves for my workout and end with a call to action. Send me a message if you want more information about my workouts. Then on Tuesday, I'll talk about how this is my 3rd pregnancy and it has been really hard on my body. So right now I'm experiencing a lot of ligament pain, and anytime I jump, I get like a shooting lightning-like pain in my pelvis. Obviously, I'm not going to continue doing those moves that hurt me. So I'm going to talk about how thankful I am that Beachbody has a low impact modifier for all of those programs, so I can still get a killer workout and not kill myself. And I'm sharing that these programs are for everybody, no matter what their fitness level is. Then I end with a call to action. If you want to do these programs with me, send me a message. I can get you more information. So Wednesday, I might mix it up a little bit, share value by giving one of my favorite recipes out that's meal plan approved. And I'll talk about how I used to struggle with finding food that I actually like to eat, that fit in my meal plan, and that my family would eat too. And then I'll talk about how we share these recipes in my group, and they need to be in my group if they want these recipes. So send me a message if you want some more information on this nutrition plan. So Thursday, I'll talk about how hard it was when I started my journey. When I started doing hip hop abs, I did it on my own. I had nobody to hold me accountable, nobody to stop me from going to the drive-through every day. And it was really hard. I didn't really know what I was doing. I didn't know what to eat. I didn't have anybody to ask questions to, but now I have these amazing groups, and look at all these women showing up every day. I might scroll through my groups, share some things that people are sharing, obviously with their permission first, and talk about how this accountability is priceless and that they need to be in my group. They need to be a part of our community. And then I'll tell them to message me or DM me or whatever it is, some type of call to action to open up that conversation. So to help me figure out all of these points that I want to talk about, I just dive deeper into what it is that we have to offer as Beachbody: fitness, nutrition, and support. So I realized that when I started talking about all of these different aspects every single day separately, I was attracting different people based on what their needs were. So maybe they were looking for support, or maybe they really needed help with nutrition, or maybe they didn't want to go to the gym. However the conversation started, I focused it around that aspect: fitness, nutrition, or support. But that opened up a conversation. So now we could talk about all of the different things, how this is the total solution for them.
You know what I love about that is that you have a plan. It's an intentional plan, Monday through Saturday. Did you do a Sunday?
Oh yeah, I do it for every day of the week, but I just gave some examples of
Does
what I
it
might.
change? Does it change every week, or that is just your focus? Nutrition, fitness, support.
I have just found that there's so many different things about nutrition that I can share. There's so many different things for each category that I can highlight. I just choose a different thing every single day.
Okay, one last question before I go to the close. Yes, definitely drink a water. Drink some water. A question came up on this TBB Coach 411 page about your Instagram followers and how you grew that. When you first were a coach, how many followers did you have, and how many do you have now?
When I started, I know it was less than 300, and it was just people who I knew randomly through high school and college. And I wasn't even using Instagram. I maybe had like 2 posts on there that were 6 months apart from each other. Now it's close to 80,000. But I think the thing that's important with social media is it is always changing. What I did in the beginning to grow my business is different than what I do now. Heck, what I even do now is different than what I did 3 months ago to grow my following. So my best piece of advice, and what I always tell my coaches and what I personally do, is I stay on top of social media and I research it, and I always try to learn, like, what are the new things people are doing? How can I use the app to continue to grow my following?
And you had a goal when you were doing MM100. You had a goal of your before and after photo,
Yes.
right? What was that goal?
I set a lot of goals. I wanted to make it my goal to be the before and after photo that was on the website. And I was. And then one day I got an email with my before and after photo, and I was like, oh my gosh, it's got emailed out to everybody.
No, we customize it for everybody. Everybody's got their own in the email. Okay, so we are going to close this call with a final question about what the last 4 years have meant to you. How fulfilling has coaching been? And can you just share with us your close? Thanks.
So coaching has 100% changed my life, and my goals have changed throughout the past 4.5 years. But it was really this point. I had been coaching, I think it was like 2.5 years, and I was doing it full time. And after I had helped my husband be able to, or after I was able to create some more income for our family, my husband was able to quit his paper route, and he actually decided to switch careers, and he became a police officer. And while he was at the academy, there was an officer shot and killed in the city next to where he works, so the neighboring city. And I remember he was out of the academy. It was about a month later, and he started working patrol, and he was on a night shift. And I was tucking my kids into bed, and I remember this one day, my daughter asked me, she's like, where's daddy? Like, he's not tucking me in tonight. And I told her, dad's at work tonight, but he'll be home in the morning. And like, that moment right there was, that was my wake up call, because I just had this pit in my stomach. And I thought, what if my husband does not come home in the morning? Sorry, you guys, I get really emotional. But it was a wake up call. And if you guys have family in law enforcement or military, like, you know that feeling, it is real, and it is just really scary. And so I decided at that moment that I was going to go all in with Beachbody. I had seen people be able to replace their full time income. But not only that, I had seen couples in the network doing this together full time. And so I made it my goal to create a full time income for myself, but also to be able to retire my husband. So right now, we're building our dream house in Arizona. And it's really exciting because it's going to be done in a couple of months. And once our house closes, David is going to be quitting his job and he's going to be home for good.
Wow. All I can say is wow. It is a pleasure to have you on the call. And we call it a wake-up call for a reason. It's something that is a sign. It stops you in your tracks and says, I need to do something different. And everybody has their own wake-up call at different times in their lives where they decide what I'm doing doesn't matter anymore. I need to do something else. I need to do something for me. So you did that, and congratulations on the hard work and the success. And thank you for getting on this call.
Thank you, Sandy.
All right. Well, everybody, I have a brand new box of really cute affirmation cards that I found. They're pop-up cards, and I found they're called Believe cards, and you just open them up. And I bought them really to share with my daughter, put them in her lunchbox or something like that. So this one says, everything is impossible. Everything is always impossible before it works. I love that saying because so many times we say it cannot be done until it can. With that, I'd like you to think about your groups, and preparing for the new year means finishing out this year strong. There is still time to start setting up your groups and letting people know the results that you got with a program and being passionate about a program. You saw that that is what happened with Natasha. She is so passionate about any program that brings her joy and brings her new results that just infiltrates to her social media, which increased her following, which makes people want to work with her. That's how it's done. Anyway, thanks everybody for a great, great call today. Thanks for joining us. And we will see you here next week. We will be live on the 23rd. So everybody have a fantastic week. Bye-bye.